Grapevine here. Alright, I like feet together. Now, boom, boom, boom. Take your time, right?
Thanks.
Guys, the dorsal is pretty versatile. You see it in MMA a lot more than anaconda. Actually, I think it's a little more effective too. Like who's really good? Like 21st is really good with the dorsal. Anyway, Aaron, you know, you guys didn't see the Bellator first. Aaron Pico was in it. Anaconda had it like all 3 rounds. I finally finished it because the other dude was so damn tired. Not because it was that tight. But to me, I feel like the Darce is just a little bit more effective. But all of them, Anaconda, Darce, and the guillotine are all off the head and arm. You know, so try to get comfortable in that position. It's a good control position too. All right, it's a good defense position. Someone shoots on you, put someone in a front headlock right away. But Darce, I mean, you can get pretty creative with some Darces, right? So even from what we were doing before, go ahead, half guard. So here, he starts pushing into me. I'm gonna let him come. I grab this arm, pull it. As I pull it, I come here, boom, and I get my Darce. All right. Sometimes I can even be here. I can almost fold to my side. All right, get the Darce. I get the Darce like this on my back too. So yeah, just play around with it in your training. You know, just that head and arm control is money. You know, head and arm to the back. I mean, it's all pretty much the same thing. A seatbelt is essentially a head and arm, right? So that's definitely a big part of this game is controlling people with that situation. So definitely work it. Hopefully, I taught you guys something today. Any questions? Anything? No questions. Oh, it's crazy.
Question on move or question?
Any, I don't care. Any question, man. You want to know who I think's gonna win the lottery or something? Find out the right guy to ask.
I got a question on like what are the basics for like doing weight cuts right? I know there's like water loading and stuff. Or not.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
That's a loaded question.
I do good. I mean, I didn't cut weight until my last pretty much 35. You know, I cut a little bit of 45, not really. I cut my whole college, high school career incorrectly. Now I cut the right way. It's a little different when you're in a high school program or a college program. You have to make weekly basis over, you know, several months. It's tough. It's a different ballgame than just having one date and having to prepare for that. The biggest thing is there's so many different ways to do it. Water loading or, you know, fast, whatever. You just have to be disciplined. If you're going to do something, you got to discipline. That's just really it. The discipline will crush it. I mean, you got to find someone that maybe knows a little more, but eat and work out. Like, don't not eat and not work out. That's what I tell my wrestlers. Like, you could either like, you gotta go pound your, you know, I'm on weight. I'm just not gonna eat. No, let's eat, work out, then you'll still be on weight. You know, don't starve yourself. That's for sure. Especially young guys. I mean, I wouldn't cut weight until, you know, it's necessary. Don't do it as a young kid.
Where are you going? Sorry.
No, yeah.
So how often during the week do you spar for fight camp?
2 days a week. I used to do 2 days a week.
5 days?
Yeah. If I spar, it's pretty hard. Yeah.
And how many rounds? Sorry.
Well, no. If I'm doing a 3-round fight, I'll do 4 rounds. But then I'll do 2 rounds. I'll do 4 rounds of live. I'll do 2 rounds of drilling, and then like maybe a couple rounds of shadow boxing, and like just finishing my sweat that day. But a 5-round fight, I do 5 to 6 rounds, which you know becomes
5 minutes.
5. Well, we do 5:15, and 30-second break, just because Mark's my coach. He's a little nuts. But honestly, I really love the fact that we only go 30-second break because I'll be on a stool in a fight and it'll be like 30 seconds. I'm ready to go, and I'm like, dude, in a minute, it feels like forever. You know.
Good question. If you're on the
No,
other
good.
side of the dart show before it's actually locked in, what will be the best maneuver defensive wise?
Gotta fight hands.
So go ahead. If I'm here before this, the best thing. So if I'm here, I mean sometimes I might just go down. You know, obviously MMA is a little different, but But if I feel like I'm gonna get finished, I'd rather get hit than get finished. So I'll come here, and in order for him to hit me, he's gotta open his hands. So from here, like I bring my shoulder away from my my head. You know. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to defend it, but if you're right away, address it right away.
Scroll right over.
Well, I mean, not always. I'm just saying, address it. You don't want to over. You never want to overdo anything. Right here, boom. I just need to hand down. Make sure I'm good. If I feel like he's really going for it, then yeah, I'll put my guy. I almost try to get him all the way here.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I gotta keep this away from my. This comes here, and I'm choking. That's how I pretend it's choking. And make sure it stays away.
Yes, sir.
Frankie, how do you get yourself prepared mentally for your fight?
I just I prepare like I know if my training went well, I'm ready to fight. That's why I think a lot of guys that they don't train the way they want to fight. Like you can't be like, I'm gonna move a lot this fight and don't move at all at camp, and then the night before be like, all right, we're gonna move. You're gonna move for 30 seconds, and then you're like, holy shit, I didn't do this all camp. I can't move. So in order, but I know I did everything, I always do everything the right way. I never want to have any regrets, and win, lose, or draw, I don't have regrets because I prepared the right way, and that mentally makes me know I'm going to be ready on fight night.
Any tips for not getting injured during training?
I mean, honestly, take care of your body as much as you can. Warm up, cool down, and stretch, do all that stuff. Go get recovery. A lot of dudes are into recovery a little too much. You gotta train hard. That's like the new thing. Recovery, this and that. You gotta train hard, real hard before you can overtrain. Everyone's worried about overtraining. Most of you don't overtrain.
What about strength and conditioning? How often?
I do 2 to 3 days a week.
And like an hour?
About an hour and a half.
Is this weights or body weight or mix?
Everything. I have a guy that he's pretty scientific with it, so whatever he says, I just do, and I trust him. I had a guy before that was more of just a volume guy. I just went and trusted him. To me, I love my strength and conditioning guy. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's helping me out, but if I tell you to jump up and down 1,000 times, you're going to be in shape. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. That's the one thing you can control. That's what we say about MMA, or any sport in general. The only thing you control is how prepared you are. What your condition. You can't control how fast you are. You can obviously work on these things, but we're kind of stuck at a point where we're only so fast, only so strong, only so technical. You can make sure you're in the best shape in the world, no matter what. No matter what. You could be a favorite, a dog. You can show up in shape. That's on you.
You taper your training at all, like towards the?
Yeah, we do. I stopped sparring probably 10 days out. But like I said, I'm pretty good at my weight even at 35, so I go pretty hard even the week of my fight. But no, live training, it's more like situational, but it's still getting my heart rate up. I try to mimic the pace of a fight.
Okay. So you're keeping your cardio up, but just like, I guess, the sparring intensity?
Sparring goes down. I don't want to spar 10 days. I used to do a week, and then I got cut the week before, and I went into a fight with a cut. I'm like, all right, let me do 10 days. So I do 10 days before I'll cut out the sparring.
Yo, so during those gray fights, the first rounds, what was going through your head? How did you survive? Most people just give up.
I don't remember, bro. All right. I came to. I came to in the fourth.
Really?
One of the rounds. My coach is like, 2 more rounds left. I'm like, what happened to fucking 3 rounds left? And then and I remember I rolled my ankle. I got dropped one time. I fell back with my ankle real bad. And I remember being in the cage. I'm like, I had no idea what my ankle hurt. And then I'm going back into the after the fight, walking back, and Mark's like, bro, you took him down. You should have seen the tape. I'm like, I took him down.
How much did you you probably 30 pounds on you, right?
Yeah, he's a little bit of weight.
That's crazy, bro. Wow. Cool.
Good.
One of my favorite fighters, man, and a lot of it is really interesting how, for most of your career, you're fighting guys that are so much heavier than you, and now, I guess you're in a weight class that, you are cutting. My true question is, man, you love fighting. Why do you love fighting? Why do you keep going back to it? What brings you to it?
I got some demons. No, I don't know. I've been training for goals, my whole life. So this is all I know, really, and I do enjoy it. It's still fun. I get to hang out with people like you guys and have common goals. And even more, but obviously fighting, traveling the world and stuff is great, but it's the people you meet along the way that make this a special sport. And just martial arts in general, man. You're going to meet people that you're going to have lifelong friends, lifelong experiences with, and you get values that you can't get in many places. Like I said, the culture in an MMA gym is more culture than any college class I've been in.
You gonna fight Jake Paul?
I'm wondering where the little YouTube. Where's the little YouTube guys? You know?
Yo, you should fight Dominic.
Who?
Dominic Cruz. That'd be
Oh,
sick.
yeah.
That's like 2011, like 35. That should have been like the 35 championship fight.
I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah.
Did you go broke when you first started fighting?
No, you know, I worked as a plumber. I was in the union until my third fight in the UFC. So, yeah, it was tough. I used to train all day, or work all day, coach wrestling in the afternoon, and then train at night, and that was a miserable time in my life. But, you know, I bought a condo like an idiot, and I had to pay my bills. So until I knew in my third fight, once I got my second contract in the UFC, that I could support myself. My wife was making a little bit more money than myself at the time too. So, but, yeah, I worked. A lot of kids, they. I mean, I get it. It's tough, especially nowadays. I kind of got in an earlier time than you guys, you know. So I probably could have. It was, you know, it's tough to work and train. You know, you don't see that very frequently nowadays.
What helped you transition from collegiate wrestling to MMA?
Just being open-minded. You know, I went in right away, knowing that I didn't know shit. You know, I knew I could wrestle. I knew I was a scrappy kid. I start on my back every day. I still do. I go in jiu-jitsu, I start on my back. I don't care who it is, I'm going with. Guess what? Now I'm comfortable. I don't mind being on my back. It took a couple years for that to happen. You know, and I just dove into. I got obsessive with it. Like I said, I was working every day, and I still was at the gym every day for the first couple of years. And
Which gym were you at, like Kurt's?
No, it's called Rhino Fight Team, which is not around anymore. Yeah. This is back in the day when a bunch of derelicts were fighting.
OGs of New Jersey MMA.
My first fight ever, you were there. It was in Jerome's boxing gym in Bronx. It was like 110 degrees. I show up there. I end up being the main event. It's my first fight ever against a kid that was supposedly he actually coaches for Alliance MMA now too. It's kind of funny. Eric Ures. Yeah, and yeah, we show. He's like, all right, 1 15-minute round, no weigh-in, there's no doctors. I wore the gloves. I was only training for about 4 weeks. I wore the gloves I was training for the whole time, and I headbutt the dude. And I won, you know, in like 2.5 minutes, and I broke my face in that fight too. My first fight ever. I went to eat with my family, or my family and friends, teams, stuff like that. I went to some place in Newark, sitting down, and I didn't look like I got into a fight. You know, I was hurting a little bit, I had a little blood in my nose, and I went to the bathroom with my buddy, and I blew my nose because I thought, you know, blow my nose, the whole eye, blow my blood though. So yeah, go back. My parents were like, "What'd you do?"
My nose.
I'm in knucklehead. I'm sitting there trying to push it out of my eye. I'm like, I think I can get it out. But that was the first of 3 times I broke my face. So if you want to do this sport, you better love it. You know, it hurts sometimes.
Out of all your opponents, who do you respect the most and why?
Yeah, I respect everybody. But you know, if I had one guy, I'd probably say Holloway. He was super classy, just the way he represents the sport, the fighter he is. He's a good dude.
When did you meet Mark Henry?
I met him right away actually. Steve Rivera, Elite Wrestling, is my great friend and coach, and he's actually cousins with Mark through marriage, and he hit up Mark, and his kid was actually, his son Pino, who's now 20-something, was going to the club, and he asked Mark, hey, Mark never held a pad for anybody at that point. He said, hey, would you work with this kid? He's like, yeah, I'll work with him. So he started working, and then, you know, started going more and more. Now Mark's probably, you know, one of the best coaches in MMA right now.
Sure.
Pretty cool.
So when you fought BJ the first time, like, you were like a huge underdog. No one thought you were gonna win that fight. Like, how did you get the courage, bro? Because BJ was like a goat back then.
Yeah, no, I know, man. He was licking people's blood off his gloves. He was literally running through dudes at that point. And yeah, everybody. I mean, even me. I don't know if I knew I could do it.
Oh yeah.
You know? I mean, you know, you always have doubts. You know, you stare across from that guy, you're like, all right, it's my time now.
Yeah.
But he was super cool. I don't think he didn't think I was gonna get it done either. I'll tell you that. He was being too cool to me. Second fight, he's like, oh, well, I gotta stop being cool to this guy. Now me and BJ are cool, man. He's good people. He's a little nuts, but he's
Like a vampire.
It's one of like the biggest biggest changes from when you first started MMA to now, like just within the sport?
I mean, you know, guys have gotten better and better, obviously. I mean, the athleticism in guys is crazy. Like, you know, back in the day, if you fought, you either had something wrong with you or you wrestled, you know, which means you have something wrong with you. And now it's like athletes are getting into this sport. And like kids have been doing it since their age, have been in the sport, you know, are getting in the sport. So, I mean, I've fought some of them. Jeez. You know.
If you could fight anyone in the UFC, would it be?
If I fight anyone in the
Anyone in
UFC?
the UFC.
What everyone asks me is whoever has the belt. I don't care. I'm not like, you know, I fought everybody. I'll fight anybody. But if I'm going to pick, it's whoever has the belt. You know, and, we got a ways to get there.
How does it just feel to be like world champion? Like,
It's awesome, man. You know, it's a lot of people go through life and they work at something and they never get to feel like the finality of something. You know, and to be able to feel like I mean, I strive. I set high goals for myself, high school, college, and I didn't obtain those goals. So to finally do that in MMA was, it made me feel like I didn't waste, 30 years of my life.
Which size do you see more advantages, like smaller or bigger? Like if you're a smaller guy, like
It's everything, man. It's like it's case to case, person to person. I mean, you're long. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be long and rangy. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. I'm sure they have some tools, but then, look at Mike Tyson. He's short and stocky, and he gets in and knocks people dead. It's I don't think there's one particular style that's the best. Although, like you see Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva, they used that style so good. But then you had a Matt Hughes and a Matt Serra, the short-ass guy, that used that style really good for themselves. So, you know what, to me, it's like, how competitive are you? If you are that competitive and you want to win that bad, you're going to make whatever vehicle you're driving work for you.
I got one last question. As like a wrestler and all the events you guys go and hundreds of matches, how much does that help when you're trying to compete in MMA?
Yeah, that makes the biggest difference, I think. Wrestling and fighting is definitely different. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like a fight is much more on the line. You're gonna get bruised up, beat up, cut maybe injured like serious. Wrestling, you're just gonna probably gonna get hurt. You could get hurt too. Not typically the same in MMA. But for me, like when I wrestled, I wanted to win just as bad as I want to win a fight. So that mindset of getting ready to compete against someone that's trying to, it gives you those reps. The more reps you can get, the better. Like as a young kid, if you don't wrestle, try to do as many nagas as you can. All right, try to do some kickboxing matches. Just get used to having, like the butterflies. That sucks. Like it takes a while. It took me till like my junior year in college, maybe, or high school, to be like, dude, you don't need to be nervous. As soon as you blow the whistle, those butterflies go away. At least for myself. You're not nervous. You sit down in the first round. Are you still nervous? No. You're fucking tired. You're like, all right, we're in this fight. Let's go. So just know, like in the prep, when you're like, oh, the butterflies just like that. They're fake because they're gonna go away. You gotta kind of talk to yourself.
How strong is Sean's shirt?
I didn't really mix it up. I kind of kept it out. I took him down a couple times, popped him up, couldn't get me. So good. Luckily, I stayed away from that meathead.
Juicy.
When I watch your fights, I see a lot of boxing and I don't see a lot of kicks. Is there a reason for that? Or?
I mean, I'm mostly a boxer, I guess you'd say. I definitely throw kicks. I'll throw them. You got to use them. You got to, because we got to use all tools. Get people thinking about one change, different level, head level, mid level, low level. So I throw them, maybe not as much as other guys do. Cool.
Picture.
Yeah, let's do it. Get a picture. Cool.